remember like it was yesterday. I'm staring at my email inbox in total disbelief. I literally made over $400 in one day without physically working. I remember it was such a great feeling, but I immediately think to myself, okay, this is working. So what's the next big thing I should focus on? And maybe you can relate. My biggest challenge might be your biggest challenge as well. What I realized over the past few years is that the shiny object syndrome is actually just a symptom. It's a symptom of a wound that cuts way deeper. As you know, I've been investing a lot in healing my childhood traumas over the past couple of years to really become the entrepreneur I want to be. But one thing I haven't realized until this past month is that I'm incredibly afraid of success. Yeah, that is a thing. The biggest question that has been really keeping me up at night is, why am I afraid of success? I don't get it, because I'm really killing it in my 9 to 5, but why am I afraid to succeed in my own side hustle? So whenever I have a question that really haunts me for days, what I do is I take some time, I sit down quietly in my bed, I put on some relaxing music, and I ask myself the same question over and over again. And literally, try it out. It's such a great way to really access your subconscious mind. Such a game changer. So once I'm in a really relaxed state, I'll come up with different answers to the questions and, see how my body reacts to them. So do I feel a sensation in my body, or are tears coming up, or do I feel just nothing? So when I was sitting there in my bed, the question that I asked myself is, okay, what if I were to become super successful? What am I really afraid of? So I started asking myself this question over and over again. And the first thing that popped to my mind was I would be alone. And I can still feel like saying that, but I really felt the tension in my right cheekbone. It's so weird. When I went through the Hoffman process to heal my childhood trauma, that was one of the things that I learned, is that I really store my trauma in my right cheek. Really, really weird. I don't know why, but that's what it is. And what was really interesting is I grew up with successful people being defined as bad people. That was kind of how I grew up during my childhood. And it was always money changes people, family is everything, and you should be just happy with what you have. It's lonely at the top was a big one as well. Or you lose everything when you're successful and you'll end up with nothing and just being alone. Maybe some of these limiting beliefs sound really familiar to you too, because maybe that's what your parents told you during your childhood. While I was saying that word lonely several times to myself, trying to figure out how my body reacts, I noticed another topic coming in. Resentment. Big resentment issues. So my dad left when I was 4 years old, and he was an entrepreneur, and he made some really good money, until he started to gamble and lost it all and went really deep into debt. And so when I grew up, money and success really meant loneliness. And that was my limiting belief. And so what I realized is I really needed to take the time to rewrite that limiting belief. And I remember I was sitting there, I was like, okay, perfect. I can rewrite my limiting belief. That's fine. But the interesting part is I go back into my meditation and I ask myself the same question again, because the first thing that comes up usually is not the right thing, right? It's what your brain wants to think about. So I asked myself, in addition to feeling alone, what are other reasons why I'm afraid of success? And so I asked myself this question multiple times, and I remember as if it was yesterday, I would not feel safe. And tears just started coming out of my eyes, and I was like, oh wow, okay, I'm onto something. And that's really, really when it hit me. My fear of becoming really successful originates from the fear of feeling unsafe. Wow, I know. I told you we're gonna go deep. Now the question is, why did I not feel safe? What I realized is that when I grew up as a kid, even though I can't remember much of it, I must have just not felt safe. And it's really crazy how the entrepreneurial journey is literally a healing journey. So based on the stories I heard from my mom and my brother, my dad would just disappear for days without really letting us know. And my dad was an alcoholic, and every time he drank too much, it would just turn on a switch in him, and he would be a completely different person. And I remember when, my dad kicked us out, my mom was just struggling to take care of 2 kids on her own. So worry was an always present emotion when I grew up. In short, in my first 4 years on this planet, it's safe to say that I probably did not feel safe at all. So fast forward with the house here in Austin in a really safe neighborhood and my protective husband and a dog next to me, I really finally feel safe and at home. I feel at peace. And I really built all of this for myself, like the experience that I didn't have growing up. And because of my old limiting beliefs that I recently discovered, I fear that success and fame can really create a loss and could potentially just bring me back to an unsafe space, such as strangers offending me online or stalkers coming to our house or threats in the mail, like all of these things. What's really interesting is my subconscious mind has really been focused on moving away from that pain instead of moving toward that pleasure. So what I did like last night is I literally wrote down everything that I can give to the world if I put myself out there fully. What are really the worst things that could happen? And what was really interesting is then I had like 2 pieces of paper, right? And I could compare it, and going through all of these different scenarios really led to a different thought. What if on my last day on earth, I would look at a screen watching a video of what my life would have looked like if I had overcome my fear of success? Think about what would that video look like for you if you had overcome all of your fears right now. And that was really powerful because that's when I asked myself, would I actually regret my decision to not just go for it, to just like follow my dreams because the fear of success was holding me back? Abso-freaking-lutely. That's when I really realized that me feeling unsafe is actually blocking me from helping thousands or even like millions of people in this world. And that night, I really realized that I'd rather die trying to unlock other people's full potential by putting myself out there rather than just to play life safe. I really don't want to do that because life is too precious to just play it safe, because we never really know how long we have on this amazing planet. You know, the chances of you and I to be born is like 1 in 400 trillion. I mean, that is just wild. There is a reason why you and I are on this planet. So I wanted to publish this video to really show you, don't shy away from living your best life. I really, really hope that this video inspired you to dig deeper into what's been holding you back to unlocking your dream life. Entrepreneurship, I would have never thought, it's a healing journey. It's like the best personal development course you can have in life because it really shows all the different limits that you're reaching and where you have to actively get out of your comfort zone. Let me know in the comments if this was a helpful video, and I can't wait to hear from you.